Steve Gamache here with another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. And in this edition, we are looking at the Masakage Shimo Petty 150mm knife. This line of knives is, the blacksmith is Kudosaki-san, and he has developed a special hammer that gives this kind of X pattern on the cladding, which we'll take a look at. The core steel is Shidogami, or white paper number 2. And the heat treat's about 61 to 63 Rockwell approximately on that. The construction is a layered or Damascus iron reactive cladding over the top of that reactive core steel. This is an all-reactive blade, cladding and core. The weight on the knife is quite light, 64 grams at 2.3 ounces. The blade length is right about 150 on the edge, and these dimensions will vary a bit from knife to knife. So about almost 6 inches on the edge, and this particular one was almost 11 inches overall. The spine thickness, this is one of the thinnest lines from Masakage, and the spine thickness is about 2.6 millimeter here above the heel, back of the heel, and then it narrows down right off the bat, and then almost has a almost continuous distal taper until it thins out really nicely at the tip with the grind of the knife. The blade height, I don't usually do this, but I put a range on this because there's a couple of knives I got in this batch. I was very surprised that this particular one is 29.3 at the heel as far as the height of the blade. I was expecting more in the low mid-30s, and so these can range anywhere from 29, something like this one, up to around 34 millimeters or so. So if you've got a preference, maybe email Mark or put that in your specifications. You want a short one or a tall one, because it does make a difference in how these handle and how much board clearance you have, depending on your preference for your petty. The handle type is an octagonal, nicely done, ambidextrous magnolia wood, black paca wood handle that's light, and the fit and finish is nicely done on it, nice and stall. The circumference is about 68 millimeters right here, where the ferrule joins the wood, and the main part of the handle. And you've got that classic Masakage curved emulto neck into the choil or back of the blade. Fit and finish is great on these. Really smooth contours on this curved bit at the back of the blade, and also the spine's nicely done. The blade grinds are exceptionally nicely done on these. Let's take a close-up look at it. These are just really pretty blades. They're so nice to look at. This Damascus pattern is just really eye-catching with the way he's done it and the hammer he uses, and you can just feel the grind of the knife down towards the edge of the knife, and you can easily see the core steel showing there at the edge. These are just really pretty, kind of a frosted finish to it, and Shimo means frost, so that hence the name. Here's a deeply etched maker's mark with the kanji. Looks really nice, reflects light nicely. Just real pretty blade. Balance point on these knives are going to vary a little bit, but this one is right there in front of the handle. You'll get a little difference depending on whether you have a taller version of this knife or a shorter one like this one, but here's what it looks like on the cutting board. Of course, a taller one will give you a little more clearance for your fingers, whereas a shorter one gives you a little bit more versatility for in-hand work if you choose to do so. So it's a very flat overall profile that steps into just a very touch of a flat spot at the heel, and a very smooth profile. It's a nice quality ground, quality made blade. And I can get about right there before I start digging the tip in. So that's pretty good for this size of knife. So not too much else to say about these. They're beautiful in person, they're thin, they're very high performance, they're well ground, just exciting knives, and real pretty to look at. Very high performance overall knives. So there you have the Masakage Shimo Petty 150mm knife.